YouTube Poop has come a long way. Its humble origins as just remixed videos of CDI Nintendo games with loud noises and flashing colors looks unrecognizable from the poops that we see today. The amount of effort put into YouTube Poops today makes these classic poops seem so distant in comparison. You didn't need to clear your After Effects memory cache just to have Luigi tell you about his chiseled rock football. You could just copy and paste the same thing and reverse it in Windows Movie Maker. While we have a certain fondness for classic YouTube poops, what about the poopers themselves? Who was the one? Some say it was Deeper Cut. I'd like to argue that it could be Walrus Guy. On this episode of YouTube Poop Retrospective, I want to look at one of the founding fathers of YouTube Poop, Walrus Guy. Their influence pervaded YouTube Poop for years, mainly due to popularizing CDI as a source, and being one of the first people to be competent at sentence mixing. YouTube Poop's early years are hard to view linearly in retrospect due to creators unlisting videos or YouTube's adherence to an archaic copyright system back then, destroying years of internet art. So with that said, who was Walrus Guy? Walrus Guy started as early as 2007 with their first YouTube Poop being Link Gets Cancer. A great start just by the title alone. It's crude and rudimentary, as any first piece of work would be, but to many, this was the first YouTube Poop people saw. I'd wager that the popularity of Link Gets Cancer comes from its name, but what makes this YouTube Poop so memorable is its immediacy. It isn't very long, and it gets to the point while having a funny, albeit for the time, joke about Link's prostate exam being cured by Belgian waffles! Oh, and it burns when he urinates. It's dumb, it's short, and it tells a story without being too obtuse. Walrus Guy's propensity for using the CDI games as sources for his poops fanned the flames of growth for YouTube Poop. Link Gets Cancer's influence afforded it a fan-animated remake only a few years prior, emulating the art style of the games while adapting the jokes in the original YTP. This remake was created by animator Nicholas Wallstrom, who just so happens to be, I'm checking my notes here, Walrus Guy himself. So not fan animated, it's him. He reanimated his own YouTube Poop. Link Gets Cancer had modest success, and Walrus Guy's influence would soon pervade the YouTube Poop scene, with videos like Mario and Luigi Travel Through Time, Dr. Rabbit is Racist, and the only Mama Luigi poop anyone has ever made. These preceding poops are in the same vein of Link Gets Cancer. They use CDI as a source and rudimentary sentence mixing as their main poop styling. Okay. Mario was attacked by a Koopa wizard! And oh, goodbye! Walrus Guy would go on to further challenge themselves with Mario and Luigi Travel Through Time Parts 1 and 2. Complex masking and additional animation would enhance Walrus Guy's portfolio here. For 2007, this sequence of Mario and Luigi's legs being extended into the air, both for their CDI and Mario World sprites, was an impressive feat to behold.
Well, my legs are long. Yes, our legs are long.
The only Mama Luigi poop anyone has ever made featured clear sentence mixing to achieve a higher comedic standard. The original description of the video when it was uploaded gave an apt summary of this poop. Luigi lets his suicidal feelings out through historical revisionism. Walrus Guy, more than his skills in editing, was adept at delivering humorous payoffs. YouTube poops are usually humorous because of their absurdity. Repetition of elements like a phrase or a loud noise is often a staple of humor in the YouTube Poop language. Walrus Guy actually used a more conventional method of getting a laugh out of the audience. Let's look at this sequence in the only Mama Luigi poop anyone has ever made.
Oh, a second. Long time.
Well, it seemed like a second. Anyway, I was fallen. Nothing below me but boiling lava. I die. Wait. A skull raft came by. I die.
Luigi, no.
Die.
What exactly makes this conventionally funny? I think it's the facial expressions and the abrupt silence that comes with it after hearing the punchline. The silence perfectly punctuates the facial expressions as they react to the punchline. What may have contributed to Walrus Guy's popularity back in the early days of YouTube Poop was the acuity of his comedy. Because of how much restraint Walrus Guy demonstrated in these early YouTube Poops, it isn't hard to see why they were a gateway into YouTube Poop for many. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Why did you omit Dr. Rabbit as racist when examining these early YouTube poops? Well, due to its subject matter, it's hard to talk about specifically. This was Walrus Guy's true ascension into internet fame. This poop is infamous for other reasons than its subject matter. Dr. Rabbit was a mascot for Colgate, the company primarily known for toothpaste and toothbrushes. Dr. Rabbit is racist is exactly what the title entails. It's Dr. Rabbit being racist, specifically towards black people. Dr. Rabbit being racist has all the elements of the aforementioned YouTube poops, only this time, it has racism. But what makes this YouTube poop legendary isn't the poop itself, it's the response from Colgate. Colgate, obviously not wanting their kid's mascot being portrayed as a pedophilic racist, got the video taken down. Instead of holding their head down in defeat, Walrus Guy kept putting racist Dr. Rabbit in their poops as a deliberate misdirection to provoke Colgate, but also to challenge fair use on YouTube. This would eventually come back to bite Mr. Walrus in the ass, because trolls would notify Colgate of these poops. In 2008, his account would be suspended due to DMCA sent to him by Colgate. During this time, Walrus Guy would explain on the YouTube Poop forums about his suspension. I became the most subscribed to YouTube pooper of all time. I became the first pooper to ever return from the grave and restore several of my poops that had been semi-wrongfully removed for copyright infringement. I, ostensibly, made it safe to use Dr. Rabbit again. But I'm tired of constantly staying on the blurry edge of community guidelines and copyright laws. Just yesterday, my Death Note poop was removed, and although I sent a copyright counterclaim to YouTube, I doubt Viz and Madhouse will be as passive about it as Colgate was. Fans at the time would perpetuate the rumor that Walrus Guy was taken to court over his use of the Dr. Rabbit character by Colgate. This was untrue, but Walrus Guy decided to falsely confirm this rumor anyway. His reason? It was funny. And I agree, the absurdity of having a legal battle over YouTube poops gives me the deadly case of the giggles. It's just such a stupid concept. Walrus Guy years later would go on to talk about how frustrating the copyright system was on YouTube back then. Contesting claims as fair use was a lengthy and arduous process, especially in 2008 and 2009.
And so this was actually the first time in the history of YouTube poop, I think, that, I mean, you know, stuff had been taken down in the past, but I decided, you know what, I think these are fair use, I'm going to contest this, and so I did, and the videos got back up, and they never bothered anyone again. People thought that I was taken to court after I brought this up, and so, you know, I just sort of went along with it. Like I said, yeah, they took me to court and they had to watch my YouTube poops in court, and because I just that was sort of a fantasy for me, like the idea of a jury having to, you know, like these random adults who are called to jury duty have to watch this Dr. Rabbit YouTube poop and decide on whether it was illegal or not. You may remember that in 2009, my account was cracked and all the videos were deleted and stuff from, like, you know, so they were uploaded on other fan accounts. So the stuff from back then, but back before then, YouTube didn't even have a to contest stuff. So like that Beowulf YTP MV I made, they removed it for inappropriate content because, like, you know, it had Angelina Jolie and it was only 240p back then, and so it may have looked like she was naked. Of course, they had the actual Beowulf trailer that I edited it from on YouTube at the time. But, you know, now since it was deleted, I never have the chance to contest that. So I've always been sort of bitter about that.
Due to pursuing animation as a discipline, Walrus Guy would step away from YouTube poops after producing countless classics. However, as one final hurrah, he would produce the aforementioned remake of his first YouTube poop, Link Gets Cancer, to showcase his animation ability, along with one final YouTube poop during this era, aptly named One More Final, I Need You to Poop. This poop called back to most, if not all, of Walrus Guy's seminal YouTube poops with reoccurring characters. However, Walrus Guy wanted to provide some finality to his work. And whether out of a need to be cynical about how tumultuous their last year was, or just wanting to provide closure to this part of their creative life, Walrus Guy opted to make this YouTube poop more introspective, almost to the point of being depressive. Yoshi dies after one last bedtime story, and Princess Zelda commits suicide.
Huh? No, I can't go on without Zelda. I'm on a jump.
Yum to yum yum.
Huh?
No, Yoshi!
No.
It's all Link's fault! Hey, Link!
Go ahead. Shoot. I wanna die.
No!
Hey, Zelda. I just want to say, it sure is boring without you.
The poop itself is still humorous, but the ending, while great, is really sad. To cap it all off, the last segment of this YouTube poop is an unedited clip of Dr. Rabbit saying, "Keep smiling."
Remember what we've learned and keep on smiling!
Bright smiles.
Smiles will make the world a brighter place!
Every little moment in this YouTube poop feels so deliberate. The sentimentality oozes out onto the audience. What's more is that if you know the context for this poop and everything that preceded it, it makes it even more heart-wrenching. And this, in my opinion, may be a contender for the top 10 YouTube poops of all time. Their poops were the fundamental building blocks for sentence mixing, which is a technique in the genre that could be its own art form. Walrus Guy used sentence mixing, animation, and great pacing to weave narratives into their YouTube poops. YouTube poop was a new art form, and Walrus Guy was a prospector on the new frontier. Even though these poops look primitive today, the quote-unquote amateurism of these early works gave them a sense of freedom. Just mashing together disparate elements from many different works to recontextualize their meaning, or better yet, form new meaning just by having fun in an editing software opened the door for many to come and create. This absurd little niche community was committed to, whether they were aware of it at the time, pushing the limits of what YouTube poop can be. And Walrus Guy was one of the first to break down that door. Even without looking at these poops with that framework in mind, Walrus Guy's YouTube poops still work within today's meme culture. The mashing up of disparate elements and naive sense of absurdism can be appreciated by even the most evergreen zoomer with a tinge of internet ironic detachment.
Dear terrific plumbers, I dare you to take it up the pooper if you can. We gotta find the lubricant. Looks are deceiving when poopers are involved. Get ready to catch her piece.
Walrus Guy's YouTube poops have been foundational and are fondly remembered for a reason. If we just had his catalog from 2007 to 2015, his legacy wouldn't be challenged. However, as recent as this year, Walrus Guy started uploading YouTube poops again. Walrus Guy has uploaded 5 new, albeit very brief, YouTube poops. These uploads feel like more of an exercise than a holistic upload. We don't know if this will come as a primer for a more fleshed out project, but the most recent upload has this written in the description. I don't know if this video is especially funny or not, but it was cathartic to make. Walrus Guy might be gearing up for a bigger upload, especially if they're getting enjoyment out of creating again. I don't think anyone would fault Walrus Guy if he was done with YouTube poop altogether, given that they do animation as a profession. Walrus Guy works on shows as big as Rick and Morty, so if he does do a full YouTube poop, don't expect it anytime soon. Even if we don't get another full YouTube poop, it's great to know that Walrus Guy still has a knack for the medium, despite moving on to bigger things. Regardless, his legacy was cemented ages ago. Even if those YTPs are crude by today's standards, go back and watch them with a historical perspective. It's analogous to people who are apprehensive of watching older films, especially black and white cinema. And like older cinema, there's a barrier of entry to understanding these YTPs in retrospect. However, after some time, anyone can come to appreciate them and understand how the medium developed. On the next episode of YouTube Poop Retrospective, I'm going to be looking at another foundational YouTube pooper. I'm of course talking about Deeper Cut. See you then.